we are now going to be going over the oceans, far, far away to Canada, no less, where I'm thrilled to bits to be able to introduce my colleague and friend, Nancy Michieli. I hope I say your second name right, because I always know you as Nancy, who is going to be talking today about body language. And I'll just say a little bit about Nancy. Nancy is a facilitator, a speaker. She's a coach for leaders and entrepreneurs. She transforms leadership communication to create positive, motivated, productive, winning teams. And also, you know, she's got a lot, she's very wide in the abilities that she is able to share and the experience that she brings. So hence, I've asked her to share with us today. She's a certified process communications model trainer, holistic life career executive coach, a certified rapid transformational therapy practitioner, and she's an accomplished, get this, ballroom dancer and a certified sommelier. I don't even know what that is. So I'm going to ask you what this. Her passion is for creating. I think communication is really. If I had to sum you up, Nancy, I think I would say that it's your communication that, is the thing that sort of encapsulates everything about you. And with that, I am going to go over to you now and just ask you to unmute yourself so that you can share. Have you done that?
I think I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Oh, absolutely you are. So welcome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Lorraine, thank you very much for having me. I'm actually going to stand up because I think body language is easier from a standing position, and see if I can figure it out how to get more of a view of me in this process. But thank you, Lorraine. I am super excited to be here. So as Lorraine said, my name is Nancy Michieli, and I am a leadership transformation coach specializing in communication, because I think communication is the key to build teams. And a team could be your relationship with a girlfriend, your relationship with your partner or spouse, or your relationship at work, right? Any of those, whether it's 2 people or hundreds of people, is a team. But I didn't always start out in this area of communication. I actually started out as an engineer and worked in the oil and gas industry, and realized that my special skill was to actually translate engineering language into real people language. And it became something that I truly developed over time by exploring things like ballroom dance. And Lorraine, you asked what a sommelier is. So a sommelier is those wine tasters, those professional wine tasters that you see in restaurants. And so I will tell you, learning body language became so important, because how you communicate in a fine dining restaurant and how you communicate on the construction field to a bunch of pipe fitters and boilermakers is a very different language pattern. And as women, when we can get comfortable and confident in our body language, in how we move, in how we're able to express ourselves, because over 90% of communication is done through our body language, through our facial expressions, through our body language. And like I said, I'm going to try and step back so you can hopefully see a little bit more of me. But how you use your hands, how you express your body is really important to how you communicate, how you interact and relate to others. So Lorraine, I am just super excited to be here today. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure you don't get this, because people are messaging me all the time through the day. But yeah, I'm thrilled to have you here and to hear you speak today. It's a very special occasion for me. So I'm really, over to you.
Awesome. So here's what I want you to think about when you think about body language. And I didn't truly understand body language, especially from a femininity standpoint, from a sexuality standpoint. Being an engineer, working in a very male dominated world, I got very comfortable being in my masculine energy in this space, being very strong, very centered, very kind of clear, logical person. And so I could be very comfortable in those male dominated rooms by being strong and being that power house. So for any of you who've ever seen the concept or heard the concept, right, of power posing, I'm like the anti-power posing girl. And here's why. So power posing, if I can do this, is actually a pose where your hands are on your hips and you are in a forward pose. And I want you to think about this. If I'm standing there in a room with you and I'm in this forward pose, it's very aggressive, right? It's very confrontational. And all of the studies on power posing were actually around building testosterone in your system. They were really about this concept of, can we increase testosterone and value that? But as women, the strongest, most powerful women in the world don't power pose. They show up as their most authentic and have this beautiful balance of femininity in who they are and how they present themselves. So for me, I try and teach people to not power pose, to learn how to relax their body. And I love using tools like yoga to help you do it. And so for me, my first philosophy really is around, I want you to just stand, and wherever you are, even if you're not on screen right at the moment, I want to encourage you to take a moment and just stand, feel that connection of your feet to the floor. Feel that connection, feel that energy that you get when you stand on the floor. And I want you then to pay attention. We're going to work our way up our body. I want you to pay attention next to your knees. I want you to relax your knees, allow them not to be so straight and rigid, and just allow that relaxation to happen. As you move up your body, I want you to become comfortable with your hips and just allow your hips, bend one knee forward. I wish I had more space that I can see you, but allow your body just to relax, just to get that hip movement, right? Women's bodies are so much about our hips, and our femininity is so much around the perineum, around the womb and those parts of your body, right, that are very centered around your hips. So learning to just move those hips forward and backwards just gives you that little bit of flexibility in that area, relaxing and opening it up. As you move up your body, I want you to think about your abdomen and your back. And often, if I can, oh, I won't push down any further, but we have a tendency to arch our butts out. I want you to bring it forward. I want you to tilt that pelvis forward so you get a more neutral, relaxed spine in your back. And that happens because you actually have a bit of bend in your knees. And then as you move up to the chest, I want you to consider taking your shoulders back, opening up the shoulders, allowing your heart to open to the world, allowing that heart to radiate out of you. And then allow your arms just to relax naturally down by your body. So we're just pulling that energy up, we're opening up, allowing it to be in a more relaxed position. And then allow your neck to become strong and straight, and feel like you've almost got a something pulling you up, because we want to get that head and that posture of your head up. And then we don't want to look up. We don't want to look down. Women have a tendency to look down and minimize ourselves. I want you just to be able to keep your chin at a very neutral level. And when we do this, right, when we open up, when we allow this allows our throat to open. So when we speak, when we communicate, when we resonate, it can be very natural. So the more we can get better at owning a more relaxed posture as opposed to an aggressive forward poised posture, the better we can start to connect and we can start to move in our body. So that's the first thing that I want you to do, is really pay attention to elevating that spine, elevating your body, connecting to the ground and feeling that energy move up through you so that you can radiate it out of your voice. Okay, so the next bit, when I started ballroom dancing, I had no background, and our instructors would say to me, Nancy, be more feminine, show up and be more feminine. I was like, what in the world does that mean? Like, as a woman, we would think that femininity should come naturally to us, should come be freeing in us. And so I was like, what does it mean to be feminine? What does it, why? And I apologize if you can hear my dogs barking in the background, but they'll be outside in a moment. But I was like, what does it mean to be feminine? When I was taking dance lessons, I was this girl who, with my husband, would be like, okay, here's the patterns. And I would get into back leading, and we would get into this kind of battle. And my instructor kept going, Nancy, I want you to be more feminine. I want you to relax your face as you're dancing and stop paying attention so much to the beat and the rhythm. And as a girl who is an engineer, who's very logical, very process driven, I was like, what do you mean don't pay attention to the beat? Don't pay attention to the rhythm and just dance and become free. And so it took me a long time, this process of me connecting more to my femininity, connecting more to my sensuality in the art of body language, was like an incredible journey for me. It was very uncomfortable for me to do. But as she had me do certain things. And so one of the things she would have me do is actually sing vowels over a long period of time. So I would take the word A and I'd be like, A, and just hold that vowel for a long time so that I could actually just feel the music inside me, as opposed to be like so logically focused on it. And so one of the things that I would encourage you to do is to get in touch with your femininity and get in touch with this sexual nature inside of you, is to find some music that brings you joy, that moves your body, that energizes you, that excites you. And then just start to move your body. Like, how does it feel? And when you do it, I'm going to encourage you to sing all of the vowels. You don't have to make a sound. You can just say in your head, A, as you hear a piece of music in the background. And then just move your body to it. Move your body to it. Just feel what it's like. And sometimes, just doing this in a room alone by yourself without anybody watching, without worrying about what are all of the impressions that people are giving me, what are all the things that are coming, that are in my head, that stop me from moving, and work your way through the values and put on music that really energizes you, because as Lorraine knows, she's an accomplished singer, right? That music is something that resonates in us. It resonates in our body, and sound is one of the most incredible ways to actually get into that feeling, get into that connection of who you are. And as you do that, I want you to put the music on. I want you to just feel it in your body. I want you to sing the vowels. Don't worry if you're off tune. Nobody cares. And just move your body without thinking about what it is. Just feel it in your body. And maybe you start initially with, as we did that initial standing posture, is to just move your hips initially. Get those hips moving, loosen them up, and then be like, okay, I'm going to roll my shoulders. I'm going to move back in my shoulders. There, we got Lorraine doing it. And hopefully those of you who are on mute are like moving in the background, right? Then just start to move your arms. Just allow them to flow. They don't need to, in ballroom, we pose them up in very specific patterns, right? Like out and, but I just want you to just allow your body to flow. The goal is not to be rigid in it, but just to relax and flow in it. And as you, I'm going to move to the side, as you move your arm out, I want you to extend it right to the tips of your fingers. Like just allow that to come straight out and then pull it back quickly. And by extending slowly, allowing the energy to go right out of your hands, right to the very tip and move it back, is like this beautiful way to connect, to move, to get fluidity in relationship. And I would encourage you to develop a practice of moving your body to music on a daily basis. So even if it's just take one song, I love it, Lorraine, you're like, yes, right? Just even take one piece of music, maybe one song that inspires you, that brings you a great deal of joy, and just literally allow that to flow out of all of the points in your body that extend. Allow it to flow out of your head by lifting your body up, by lifting your heart and opening up. Allow it to flow out of your hands. Allow it to flow through your feet into the floor as you like raise and lower and bend those knees. And I will also encourage you to do this barefooted. Allow your feet, when you do this music, to connect, to resonate, to allow, so that you can get more into how you communicate, how you see the world, feel the world through your body and posture. So we've now talked about body and body language, right? Getting that posture into a beautiful, relaxed tone, not an aggressive forward. The second thing that we've talked about so far is really about engaging with music and using vowels to get you to stop thinking about what is the rhythm, the pattern, the must have, and allowing your body to extend fully out your arms, out every part of your body. The next thing that I want to talk about is I want to move up into our face, right? And our facial expressions are so incredible in relation to how we communicate, how we connect to other people. And so one of the things that I encourage people to do is to smile more and to really practice smiling. So years ago, I used to sing with the Sweatalines a cappella. And it was like really important for us to like constantly be practicing our smile, practicing lifting our eyebrows, right? When we smile, and get those eyes wide open. And so one of the things that I would love for you to do right now with me is we're going to do an activity you're gonna scrunch your face in, and then I want you to pop it open. Pop it open, allow it to open, allow your facial expression to open. So if you'll do this with me, we're going to crunch it right in. So crunch, 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 pull all the muscles, pull it all in. Feel how tight that is. And you'll notice that my voice has even changed as I pull it tight. Now I want you to pop it open. Pop it open. Can you feel how the sound of my voice has just changed? Can you also feel how, oh my gosh, it was so painful, right? When we are pulled tight, and then when we open it and relax it, right, it allows us to resonate a happier, a more positive connection to who we are, how we relate. And so when we can have an open face, when we can have a face that is relaxed, it allows our jaw to relax, right? It allows us to communicate. It allows all of the the muscles in your mouth and your face to support you in communicating. I'm just going to grab a sip of water. It also creates this connection with each other, right? So our eyes really tell what it is that we're thinking, that we're perceiving, right? And so when we're thinking, when we're overthinking, when we're stressed, right, our eyes have a tendency to either be in one of three positions. They are either very direct and pointed, right, in the staring look, which makes people very uncomfortable, or they're in this downward, I don't want to share who I am position, or they're looking upwards, like they're trying to find, and it could be up to the side, it could be straight up, but it's like they're trying to find some answer within them. But when you connect with people, when you want to show into who you are, we want your eyes to be relaxed and neutral. We want them to gaze at the person and then just maybe move to the side for a second, or the side, and then come back. But we want to connect ideally through the eyes, which has become a bigger challenge from a body language perspective in this whole world of being on Zoom, right? Is because oftentimes we all have our cameras off, like we're trying to hide ourselves. But the reality, women, is I'm going to encourage you to step up and step out and unhide yourself from behind the camera. Get yourself into a position, whether you're in a meeting in the boardroom or just on conferences like this, allow yourself to be seen. And we see each other so well through our eyes, because our eyes make a huge difference in perceiving information. Our eyes are like one of the biggest filters, and supposedly our eyes are actually directly connected to our brain. So there's like a very quick connection between what we feel, think, hear, and experience through our eyes. And so I encourage you, as you want to get more comfortable with yourself, as you get more confident with yourself, pay attention to your eyes. Are they really direct and focused? Are they down and trying not to look? Are they up and avoiding? Or are you neutral in your eyes and showing that perspective? As we move down in our face to our smile, I encourage you to smile more. Right? When you smile more, there's that statement, right? The world smiles with you. And I'm loving Lorraine's smile that she just had on her face. It's so beautiful, right? It makes you want to connect with someone. It makes you want to hang around with those people. And so whether it's in the corporate world, in the boardroom, or it is having a lovely romantic dinner, or even just sitting by yourself meditating, I encourage you to take time during that process and smile. Allow that smile, allow it to lift us up, Don't worry about the wrinkles that you may start to get in your eyes and around your face. Those smile lines are actually beautiful. And as we age, the more we can create those little smile lines, those little joy, think of it as have you ever seen like an older woman whose face is so tight and has no lines on her? It looks a little unnatural, right? It looks like there's something really wrong. And I encourage you to smile, allow those lines to show. Don't Botox your lines, like allow them to be natural. Allow us to get to know you as a person, you as a woman, you as maybe a mother or a sister or a daughter, but allow us to get to know you through your beautiful face, through the way that you resonate out to us in the public. And so our face, our facial expression makes a huge impact. And then the last bit in relation to body language is actually tone. So it's not the words that we say that are important, it's how we say it. And so it starts with how our body is, how our facial expression is. And then I want you to think about the tone in your voice. And as women, oftentimes we speak at a higher tone, right? Like a much higher tone. And when we're trying to resonate, especially with men, right, that higher tone can be a bit of a challenge. And so when we start to open our throat up, when we start to learn to smile, to learn to relax, and to not constrict our vocal cords, right, we can actually open up, we can soften that tone and show up more naturally, show up more nurturing, more caring, more attached to ourselves. So I really encourage you to learn to pay attention to your body language, to learn to pay attention to your neck and your chin position and the openness that resonates in your mouth. And I used to play saxophone, so I call it the embouchure, but essentially back here in the oral cavity and your throat, so that you can resonate the most beautiful version of yourself. And don't worry so much about what your body looks like. None of us have perfect bodies. I am currently 25 pounds overweight according to my scale, according to the all of the tests that I've done, and according to BMI, I'm probably like 50 pounds overweight. But it's okay. Get to know your body. We're not talking about, does your body need to fit like a perfect size? What we want you to do is really just connect to it, to feel free in it, to be able to show up relaxed and enjoying every moment of it. So if there's only one thing that you take away from today, I encourage you to find a piece of music that you connect with, or a series of pieces of music, and really just play it and allow it to vibrate inside every cell of your body so that you can radiate out the incredible woman that is within you. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So I've got a couple of things here that people have been sharing while you've been speaking, Nancy. So from Cassandra Collins, I love the smile message. She's saying how smiling releases dopamine and serotonin, which are the happy hormones. So exactly,
right? It does. And you know, even putting music on allows that to happen really well.
Mm-hmm. Muriel is saying that she wants these exercises again. Oh, she said, yeah, I'm going to put this, the whole day, folks, I'm going to put the whole day into YouTube, my YouTube channel. So, you will be able to, and I'll send out the link. So you will be able to listen to Nancy again. It would be brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Put your links as well, Nancy, in the, I've already put them in the chat, but I'll put them in the, under the YouTube thing, so people can contact you for that. But yeah, no, brilliant. I've got a little story, a little name dropping story.
Yeah, please do.
about the eye connection thing. I was singing in London on the King's Road. Well, you probably don't know where the King's Road is. Londoners will know it because it's very famous. It's Chelsea. It's a very fashionable, high area. And I had a gig there where I was singing on a weekly basis for, I don't know how long it was, probably. Anyway, I was singing there one night. I had a band with me, and I took a break and went to the ladies' room, and this beautiful woman came in, and she started to talk to me about singing, and she was saying, when you sing, what you must do is imagine that you're looking into the soul of the people that you are performing to. And then she went on to talk about the breathing and the whole thing, and how you open, just like the stuff that you shared today, how we open up our whole chest area to feel this heart connection. And I was completely kind of, wow, that's amazing. So I went back and did another set, and then went round to her table, and she was a bit tipsy actually, but the guy that she was with, they were saying, oh, he said, you don't know who this person is. She's so famous. Because I said to her, what I said to her in the ladies, I said, what's your name? And she just didn't tell me her name. No, she did tell me her name. It was Shirley. She said, it's Shirley. So I just thought, oh, Shirley. Okay. Hi, thanks, Shirley. So when I went round to the tables afterwards, they were saying, oh, her companion said, oh, you don't know who this person is. She's so famous. She says, you're going to be so famous, they said to me. Well, I'm still waiting for that. But anyway, I was very flattered, but I was busy paying the band and doing all the things that you do at a gig. And so then, and the next day I was on the train, and I was thinking, Shirley, a very famous person called, she's a famous actress. Can anybody guess who it was?
Was it Shirley MacLaine?
It was Shirley MacLaine, yes. It was Shirley MacLaine. And so I that day I jumped off the train, and I rushed into a bookshop to check, the cover. She wrote a book called Out on a Limb, which is she's a very spiritually, person. So that was fascinating. Yes, that message and all of the things that you were saying as well. Yes. Oh my God. No, not Shirley Bassey. It was Shirley MacLaine. Shirley MacLaine. Yeah. Yeah, Shirley Bassey is a British one. So, I mean, everything that you've said is actually what is so vital in our communication. I love what you say about the smiling, but the eyes too, how important the eyes is, and everything about the posture too, how we open movements and be so welcoming, but, stay away movements. And so, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah. Invite people in, right, to your circle. As women, we've gotten into a protection mode, and it's very understandable, right? Because often men are typically bigger physically, those types of things. And so we have a tendency to go into a protection mode. We close ourselves off. But when you really when you see confident women, right? When you see women like Oprah Winfrey on the stage, when you see other incredible women speaking, right? And up there, their body language is so open, right? Like, one of my favorite women to watch from a body language standpoint, I think she's incredible at it, is Judi Dench. Like, she just exudes this incredible energy, whether she's playing M or whether she's playing, what's the new character she played in? Anyways, but she just exudes this amazing body language in her. And I just love watching these incredible women who can show up there and be so naturally themselves. Yeah. And I think when you can be naturally yourself, it is the most beautiful experience you can share with anybody and share with yourself.
I've got a question here, Nancy, from Alicia. How should you respond when confronted by a negative hostile vibe, glare, stare. I tend to look away, but wondered if you had any strategies. Unfortunately, I have to face this horrible, and it sounds like it's a family member in an interaction. So over to you.
So first thing I want you to recognize is the words that you're saying to yourself. This person, their horrible stare is about them projecting something that is in their head, and I almost want to say it's their face, right? It is their face. It has nothing to do with you, but because we take body language as the first reaction to the way it is, we start to make up stories in our mind. And so instead, think of things that are positive. It could be like, oh, they're staring at me with that negative face because they're jealous of how incredible I am. Think about switching it, as opposed to they're staring at me because they think something's wrong with me, because they think, but flip that language into your mind and then just gently look back. Like, I wouldn't get into a staring contest with someone, but just open your body, allow yourself to be confident and comfortable in who you are, look at them, and then just look to the side, look at them, and just pay attention to the words that you say to yourself. Say things like, you know what? They're staring at me because I'm so incredible. They're staring at me because they think, wow, what is it with her? And I'm so like jealous because I'm trying to figure that out. So instead of making it a negative thing, your response to an action is based on how you perceive the world, how you see the world. And so just allow yourself to be like, to almost laugh internally at that stare and recognize that you are positive, you are energetic, you are exciting. For example, Jack Canfield, and I don't know if any of you know who Jack Canfield is, but he's the guy who's with the Chicken Soup for the Soul books. And when I got trained and certified in his program, one of the things that I love about it is he does what he calls the green hair experiment in response to responsibility. And this is chapter 1 in the book. And essentially is, when we take 100% responsibility, the event plus the response equals the outcome of what happens. So the event is this person staring at me. So he describes this as the green hair. So imagine somebody came up to you and said, oh my God, you have the ugliest green hair. I can't imagine what is wrong with you. Your most likely response would be, this person is crazy, because A, I don't have green hair, right? So I'm not bothered by it or offended by it. You'd actually think that there's something wrong, or and so the outcome is you wouldn't feel bad. You wouldn't diminish yourself for it. So when somebody's staring at you, when somebody's giving negative words or feedback to you, and I'm not saying this is always easy to do, but be like, you know what? This is them. This has nothing to do with me. This is not about me. They have visual perception issues that's causing them to see green hair. And every time you get that stare, that'd be like, huh, green hair. That's what they're thinking. Okay, they just lost the plot, and I'm good, and I am comfortable with myself. And if they don't like it, that's their issue. But your issue is holding responsibility for yourself, how you show up in every situation. So just smile back and be like, hi.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, that's fantastic, because it's like it's their issue. It's not your issue. Exactly. So, you don't have to take that on. And I appreciate that sometimes that's very challenging when we are in the middle of a lot of hostility. That can be quite a challenging thing to do, but that's the goal, isn't it? I mean, that's what we want to aim at, because I was listening to Nancy, we've been doing Nancy and I have been sharing a business course that we've been doing together. And one of the speakers, he was saying about, as you become more well-known, what happens is, get used to people not liking you, he says.
Exactly.
Yeah, lots of people won't like you.
Love your haters, right? Like, it's just like, okay, that's your issue, right? Not mine. Yeah.
Oh, bless you, my dear. Thank you so much for being with us today. Pleasure. It's really been great to have you. Let's just hear from everybody here. Would you like to just do a little virtual clap for Nancy, please? Put a little something in the chat just to say thank you for our friend from across the oceans and the land. So Alicia's saying, so just talk positively to yourself and not respond to them, even if that, that's what I would say. I would say you probably agree with me, Nancy. Just when somebody's being negative to you, just talk positively. Don't let it get under your skin. Thank you, Nancy. You brim with confidence. That's a lovely thing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, lots of people sharing their thanks, Nancy, and from me as well. Thank you for being here today, giving up part of your early morning, because it's still early there in what time?
It's 8 a.m. Yeah, it was 8 a.m. here when
started. And what's the temperature there today?
Well, actually, it's going to be lovely. The temperature's going up, which is odd for Canada. It's supposed to be 15 degrees Celsius by Wednesday. I think 7 degrees today. Normally, we'd be like -10, but we're having a very warm, mild winter. So,
Okay. Well, thank you again. Lots of hearts.
Oh,
Valentine hearts.
Yes, a Valentine heart.
And
Lorraine.
And I will be putting sending all of Nancy's contact details out, ladies. So if you want some help with communication, or you are, you work for a company, Nancy works internationally. So she, if you've got if you run a company, or somebody who would benefit from her, then her support, her help, then I'm sure she would be more than happy to talk to you about that. So, okay. Thank you.